lost a total of 90 pounds. But sis, if I could start this journey all over, I wouldn't just change what I ate or how I moved. I'd changed what I believed about myself. Oh honey, I'm about to break down the top 10 things I wish someone had told me before I stepped into the gym or tried to prepare a single meal. Girl, if you're ready to get started, get your pen, get some Post-its, get your ambition planner, and let's go. Hello, Ambition Babes. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Didnt, also known as the face of ambition, across all social media platforms as well as wherever you stream your podcast. I help women who are 40 years and older who are on a reinvention journey, who are ready to glow up and are tired of doing the exact same thing the exact same way and expecting something different. But do not worry, sis. If you have found this channel and you are not over the age of 40, just consider me your bougie auntie that wants to put you on so that you don't have to struggle the way that I have. And today I'm about to break down the top 10 mistakes that I have made on my 2-decade-long weight loss journey. These are not going to just be physical mistakes, but spiritual, emotional, even financial mistakes that had held me back from reaching my goals. These are mindset shifts that helped me to finally lose 90 pounds and become the version of the woman that I have always envisioned. Whether you're just starting your glow up journey or stuck somewhere in the middle, I'm about to tell you all of the mistakes, missteps, and mishaps that I have made, and hopefully it doesn't take you as long to reach your goals as it did for me. But before we get started, I want us to be honest just for a moment. Most of us take better care of everyone else than we do ourselves. But this year, I'm choosing to be more proactive about my health. And that starts with getting clear answers. I'm no longer brushing off fatigue, pushing through symptoms, or waiting for something really serious to happen. As a woman of a certain age, I'm starting to prioritize my health a lot differently. Things are happening, my organs feel like they're shifting, and all of a sudden it gets really, really hot at night. That is why I want to start by thanking the sponsor of this video, LabCorp On Demand. They offer over 80 different lab tests that you can purchase directly on your own without having to make a doctor's appointment. I took control of my health by purchasing the Women's Health Test, and I am so glad that I did. When I was ready to get started, I visited trylco.com/Didnt and scrolled through all of the tests that LabCorp On Demand had to offer and identified the location that I wanted to take my test from over their 2,000 patient service centers. Your sample is collected the same way that it's collected at the doctor's office, and there is no need to try to prick your finger at home. Testing is performed at CAP-accredited and CLIA-certified clinical laboratories that typically process 3 million samples every week. Knowing that they really knew what they were doing helped me to feel so much more secure about this process. And the fact that I was able to skip the waiting room and waiting for months to see my doctor, walked into the lab and a technician was waiting to see me, released all the stress and anxiety that is usually associated with having to get blood work. You are notified by email when your results are ready as early as the next day. You'll be able to view your easy-to-read results online in your LabCorp patient account. If you've ever been concerned about things like heart health, diabetes, or thyroid function, the Women's Health Test is a powerful starting point. These are issues that affect millions of women and go undiagnosed for way too long. I'll never forget a few years ago when I realized I was pre-diabetic. It was a complete game changer in my health journey, but having to wait till my next doctor's appointment to get my blood work drawn again made me feel like I wasn't in control and I really wanted answers. With LabCorp On Demand, it is clear, comprehensive, and completely confidential. If you're anything like me and you're being more proactive about your health this year, LabCorp On Demand makes it simple and easy. No long waits, no confusing processes, just clarity and peace of mind. If you've been meaning to check on your health, consider this your sign, sis. Click the link in my description and visit trylco.com/Didnt and use code Didnt to take 20% off for your Women's Health Test lab test. Your body deserves attention and so do you. Thank you, LabCorp On Demand, for being the sponsor of this video and an amazing supporter of our community. Okay, girl, let's get into the top 10 mistakes that I have made during my weight loss journey and the things that I would do completely different. Number 1 is doing it for validation and not alignment. So because I've been on a weight loss journey for multiple decades, the reasons for me wanting to lose weight changed year over year. When I was younger, I wanted to be more attractive. I wanted people to like me, and I felt like I wasn't getting the attention that I thought I wanted because of my weight. When I got older, I wanted to be thinner because everybody else was so concerned about their fitness, and even though I was showing up in the gym consistently, I had absolutely no results to prove it. I had to realize that the external motivation burnt out extremely fast. I may have been motivated briefly briefly by an influencer or somebody that I knew, and wanting to have abs like the girl that I just saw on Instagram quickly faded the moment that I got in the gym myself. What I found is that I actually had no true identity. I was always searching for other individuals' definition of beauty, what fit looked like, what my goal weight would be. I allowed other individuals' expectations and their realities to become mine. Once I stopped and identified how I wanted to feel, I finally had something to hold on to. Because let me tell you, over the years when I've tried to lose weight, when the scale didn't say what I wanted it to say, I was instantly discouraged. So I had to figure out how to break up with the scale and how to attach my progress with how I felt. How do I feel about what I just ate yesterday? How do I feel after leaving the gym? How does going to the gym make me feel? What types of workouts make me feel the best? Once I stopped seeking validation from the number on the scale, everything changed for me. Mistake number 2 is that I loved discipline shaming. I used to think that discipline was actually punishment. Having to get up at a certain time, having to eat a certain meal, having to stick to a certain caloric intake, having to drink a certain amount of ounces of water, having to go to sleep at a certain time so that I could wake up at a certain time because I had to go to the gym. My shame-based discipline used to lead to self-sabotage. Because I got so accustomed to shaming every decision that I made, I stopped making those decisions so that I didn't have to sabotage my success. I know it makes no sense, but I really started telling myself that I just couldn't be disciplined. I couldn't get on a diet that restricted the things that I ate, and I knew I wasn't going to eat that way forever. And because I knew I wasn't going to eat that way forever, I would seriously make up in my mind that there was actually no reason to start. It would make no sense to start a diet and start a healthy regime whenever you knew it wasn't sustainable. Or my favorite thing is that I would start something on Monday, fall off on Wednesday, and laugh at my lack of discipline on Thursday and Friday. I didn't need anybody else to body shame me. I would body shame myself. But when I figured out that real consistency and discipline was built through self-trust, I tried the simple act of trusting myself. If I said I was going to go to the gym at 6 a.m., I made sure that I was there. One of the biggest issues that I had is because I lied to myself all the time. I would say I was going to get up at 6 a.m. and girl, I wouldn't even set the alarm. I knew it was a lie when I said I was going to do it. When I started reframing discipline as self-love, discipline stopped being a restriction. I started to enjoy the discipline around eating a salad with every meal. I started to enjoy the discipline around weighing my food. I absolutely love the discipline of drinking a gallon of water every single day. Being disciplined is not being restricted. It's the way that you can start to show yourself self-respect. So when I was preparing for this video, I knew all of the things that I was going to talk about. But as I'm going through this list and I'm thinking about the places that I've been emotionally, spiritually, mentally, it has been a really hard, dark journey. I can't speak for you, but I know how much my desire to lose weight and the amount of time that it took me to actually realize my goals hurt my self-esteem so bad. And thinking about this list, even though I prepared it today, it's just kind of taking me back to that place. And mistake number 3 that I had made was I ignored the emotional weight. No one told me how much grief and sadness and disappointment that I had stored up in my body. There was so much unprocessed hurt and fear around feeling again and again and again that at some points I really just felt like I gave up on the journey. For decades, I denied that I was an emotional eater. Being an emotional eater to me sounded like the person that snuck food in the bathroom and ate it in the tub. And because that is the visual that I had in my mind, I didn't identify as that. But every time I got sad, I would eat. Every time I had a really bad day or something didn't go the way I thought it should, I wanted to forget it all, so I would overeat. And every birthday, holiday, sunny day, windy day, I had to go and get some ice cream. When my body truly took a transformation, it is when I started to heal emotionally. When I started to release the baggage of what made me overeat. What made me feel like it was such a hard task to put my calories inside of that MyFitnessPal? Why did I have this huge sense of FOMO that every time I went to a restaurant, I had to get the biggest and most decadent meal that I couldn't or wouldn't order off the skinny menu because my food wouldn't taste as good and I wouldn't have as good a time? I literally felt like every meal had to be the most tasty, most delicious meal that I've ever had in my whole life. But when my emotions started to regulate and when I would go out to eat, I would take pleasure in ordering a dinner salad. I would enjoy the process of cutting up my salad and chewing it and still enjoying conversations with my friends or my husband. I had to change the emotional ties that I had to food. And for you guys that don't know, I'm a complete foodie. Some people order Vanity Fair magazine. I order Food Network magazines, Bon Appetit magazines, Better Home and Garden magazine, but just for the desserts in the back. My hobby is literally to cook every single day. I love going to the grocery store. I love buying fresh produce. I love trying different meals. And because I have this romantic relationship with food, I had to first understand that it was okay to change the nature of our relationship. Yes, I still read the magazines and go to the grocery store every day, but the items that I decide to buy have changed. The amount of food that I need to eat has shifted. And when I added journaling, breathwork, and therapy to the equation, my glow up routine 10x'd. Mistake number 4 is that I left God out of the process. I literally felt like God didn't understand this. Like he literally did not have the same struggles that I had. Whenever he was in the desert and the devil was trying to tempt him when he was fasting, he said no. So because I didn't feel like he understood what I was going through, or that he would be disappointed with the things that I did to my temple, I never introduced him into the process of weight loss. I invited God into my business and into my finances, but not into my health. I remember the day so vividly whenever I decided to make my weight loss goals a matter of prayer. It was literally the one thing that I had not tried. I had just been diagnosed with prediabetes, and I knew that I did not want to be diabetic. I knew that I had eaten myself into this situation, and I knew that I did not know how to get out. And so the moment that I decided to ask God to show me what I needed to do, to take away the temptations that I had to change my mindset, to change my taste buds, to change my food addiction and my emotional eating, that is when I lost 50 pounds in less than 6 months. Every single day, I was asking God to help me make good decisions. I literally had to imagine him standing with me in the kitchen, watching me make my plates for all 3 of my balanced meals, and I wanted to make him proud. Just like we always say our phone eats first, I would bow my head in prayer and say, God, I want to be able to enjoy this food, and God, please do not allow it to make me fat. I was going through a spiritual serenity. I had to surrender my appetite to God. I had to understand that I was out of control, and he was the only person that was going to be able to help me to stay focused. I want to encourage you to pray over your weight loss goals. You're going to have to ask for strength because there is absolutely no other shortcut. I know that I said I was going to give you 10 mistakes that I made on my weight loss journey, but actually there is an 11th mistake that I made. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to tell you the biggest mistake that I made on this journey. And I'll even give you a hint. I could possibly be a millionaire today if I had not made this mistake on my weight loss journey. Mistake number 5 is your girl can overcomplicate a plan. My favorite form of sabotage is to overcomplicate things. If it's 15 steps and I can only perfect 14 steps, well, I might as well not even carry on. When the plan is just this simple: get enough sleep, drink your water, and move your body. If the plan was already difficult, I would find a way to make it even harder, so it would make it just that much more out of reach. Therefore, I had something or someone else to blame whenever I wasn't able to reach my goals. Girl, when I tell you this was some real psychological sabotage, but whenever I found the simplest plan like Weight Watchers, I was able to drop 30 pounds on Weight Watchers by simply following the things that they said on the app. But the moment that I stopped using the handy dandy little app, I quickly gained back 27 of those pounds. So I know what you're thinking. Girl, why don't you just get back on the app because it helped you the first time? Oh, but honey, that would be too simple. I needed to try some other diet plan. I needed to walk 50,000 steps a day. I needed to invest in the nutritionist and the gym and the weight loss plan, as opposed to using the very simple weight loss plan that had helped me before. When I finally started to make a real transformation in my weight loss, it was when I took small, repeatable actions that built big momentum. My small actions would be I replaced my chair with my walking pad. My small action would be that I would gamify how much water I drank a day. My small action is that I make sure that I'm in bed by at least 10 p.m. every single night. My small action was rewarding myself at the end of the week if I actually logged my food every single day. Small actions equal big results. It's just that simple. Mistake number 6 is that I would quit if I didn't see immediate results. I know that no one else has ever done this before. When you go to the gym for the whole week and you step on the scale, and honey, it says that same starter weight or you have actually gained a few ounces, oh honey, I would be pissed. A whole week of sweating and I got absolutely nothing from that. I am such an immediate gratification girl. And if I didn't see the results in real time, I simply didn't want to play anymore. I had to literally break up my relationship with the scale. And I had to remember that the scale was not my savior. It was not the thing that I was clinging to. It could not measure my consistency. It couldn't accurately measure the portion control that I was practicing every day. My reflection or the number on the scale was not my proof, but my consistency was. I had to start reminding myself that even though I have stopped and started and stopped and started again, that did not mean that I was starting over. I was simply picking up from where I left off. I'm not even going to sit and tell you how many times I have stopped and started a weight loss program, stopped and started going to the gym, stopped and started that Planet Fitness membership. I had to figure out why I was so addicted to immediate results. And I knew that nothing was going to change overnight. But again, if I could figure out a way to sabotage my success and stay comfortable with blaming everything else on why I couldn't actually reach my goals, that is why getting that women's health test from LabCorp was so important to me. Because there was a time I was like, there's got to be something wrong with my thyroid. My metabolism is dead. There's clearly something chemically wrong with me because I'm doing everything right. But when I thought about how many days I was doing things right versus how long I needed to be doing it right in order to get the results I wanted, they simply didn't add up. The seventh mistake that I made is not realizing how my physical confidence affected every area of my life. Oh, girl, this one is heavy for me. When it came to me showing up on the internet, speaking in front of crowds, or knowing that I was going to meet someone for the first time, I would instantly worry that they thought I wasn't qualified for the position, qualified to be their keynote speaker because of my weight. I felt unworthy, and I even oftentimes felt fraudulent because I would go to all of these conferences and see other CEOs that were so fit and had their morning routines down and were on their Peloton bikes and were walking during the breaks that we would have. They were choosing the salad bar as opposed to the burger bar. They were drinking water instead of beer at the happy hour. And I felt so judged by everyone else when in reality I was judging myself. I would make inappropriate jokes about my weight in front of other individuals just so that I could go ahead and get it out there so that they didn't have to think that I didn't know that I wasn't like them. I already had so many other emotional deficits that being a woman, being a Black woman, and being a plus size woman were just too many self-inflicted titles and caused me to dim my light. Oh my goodness, y'all. I really thought I was ready to talk about this. But when I think about how my physical confidence has suffered throughout the years and the spaces that I wouldn't or felt like I couldn't show up in because I would feel judged, it was completely crippling. I was raised vegan and been a vegetarian my whole life. I will never forget the day that I had to pre-order our meal for some event that we were at. And everyone was getting their meat plates and I got a vegetarian plate. And when the cloche came off my plate, I felt like everyone was staring at me. I felt like they were saying to themselves, oh, now she knows she needed to order this pork chop. I felt like they completely assumed that I was going to stop and get some fried chicken on the way home. It would literally make me shrink, and I would find myself trying to explain my decisions and my position. I allowed every single area of my life to be affected by my weight loss, and it is a mistake that I would never do again. Mistake number 8 is thinking that I had to hate my body in order to change my body. Even though there have been times in my journey that I did not like my weight, I never not loved myself. And so the two things would fight against each other all the time. But I had to realize that there was a big difference between loving the person that I was and hating my body. I felt like if I accepted my body the way that it was, that I was just giving up. And even though I knew I didn't want to give up, I had a lot of emotional baggage attached to the fact that I didn't hate myself. I hated some of the decisions that I made, and I hated the fact that I lied to myself all the time saying I was going to work out and eat better, but I didn't hate myself. Some of the food decisions that I made may suggest that I didn't respect my temple, but I felt like I had to come to a point of hate in order to change. And that simply was so far from the truth. The shame was depleting my motivation. And I realized that I can love myself and love my body and still want to change it. Number 9 is that I tried to do this weight loss journey all by myself. You all know how I feel about having a clique. It is scientifically proven that you are more likely to reach your goals whenever you have an accountability partner. And I remember I had an amazing accountability partner when I did Dr. Joe's 40-day turn up. That was the first time that I felt supported during my weight loss journey. I felt empowered. I felt inspired. I had a deadline and a goal, and we were rooting and praying for each other every single day. During that time, I believe I lost about 20 pounds. And I know it was because I wasn't doing it by myself. When you do it by yourself, you can hide. You can lie. You cannot show up. But with the moment that someone is waiting for you to send in your pictures of your scale that week, when they're depending on you to send your pictures of your food or the meals that you ate that day, you start to realize I actually have to cook and eat this food in order to take a picture of it and send it. The encouragement that you receive whenever you work with others can help you to stop isolating and start being consistent. Mistake number 10 that I have made on my weight loss journey is that I acted like this was a short-term project as opposed to a lifestyle. Yes, we like to set deadlines to our goals. By the time my birthday comes around, I'm gonna lost 25 pounds. By the time it's cuffing season, I'm gonna have dropped 30 pounds. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a deadline to your weight loss goals. But I acted like once I got to the goal weight that I could just slack off. Like I had crossed the finish line, gathered my medal, and I was going home to eat a sub sandwich. Sis, I hate to break it to you, but this journey does not end. This is a lifestyle. And the biggest mistake that I have made over the 2 decades that it has taken me to lose these 90 pounds is that I never figured out how to make this a lifestyle. Drinking the water, going for the walks, eating at a caloric deficit has to be a part of your everyday journey. Taking your vitamins, measuring your protein, making sure that you get enough fiber. It has to be adopted as a part of what you do every single day. I have gained and lost and gained weight so many times because I was trying to stick to a diet and say that that was going to be how I lived the rest of my life. And clearly I was set myself up for the okie doke. A diet is not a lifestyle. So I want to encourage you to set a weight loss deadline and curate a plan personally or with a professional on how to find a lifestyle regimen that you can live with. Okay, sis, I promised you a bonus tip if you stuck to the end of this video. And the bonus mistake that I have made and why I am not a millionaire today is because I connected my physical health to my finances. It is embarrassing for me to think of the amount of opportunities that I have passed up because I did not feel worthy enough to show up in a room. I felt like they weren't going to ever hire a plus size woman. I felt like they were automatically going to judge me and they weren't going to choose me anyway, so I might as well not apply for that grant. I have allowed so many opportunities to run through my fingertips because I did not feel physically confident enough to show up and make some money. Girl, I love money more than most people I know. I have real ambitious goals, yet my weight loss insecurities would chump me getting a check. I was tired, I was bloated, I was sluggish, all because I was out of alignment. I could not show up as the best and highest version of myself because I didn't see myself as the best person for the job, for the opportunity, or even deserving enough to be in that space. When all of the other team members were making deals on the golf course, I would stay behind because I couldn't walk that many holes or I didn't want to get all sweaty while sitting on the golf cart. My lack of discipline with my health reflected my lack of discipline with my money. And as I'm sitting here thinking of all of the opportunities that I have missed, all of the times that I said no to myself because of my self-worth and confidence, I know that I could be further along in my glow up journey if I didn't realize that my confidence had an ROI. There is literally a return on the investment that I was making to my body every single time I was building my confidence. I didn't mind showing up more. When I was finally ready to be vulnerable about the things that I have been through, I could show up differently. Even though making this video has probably been the most difficult for me, I feel like I just finished a therapy session. I know the opportunities that have passed me by because of my lack of confidence, because I've been an emotional eater, because I would quit every time I started, because I felt like I wasn't worthy enough or needed outside validation in order to feel like I deserved to be in various spaces. And if you take away one thing from this video, is that I do not regret my journey. But if I could start all over again, I would do it with more grace, more alignment, and more God. If you're on a similar journey, your glow up is not just physical. It's emotional and spiritual as well. And when you stop waiting for permission, you've been ready to get serious about this journey for a long time. You've probably made your own set of 10 mistakes, but it's time to forgive yourself and allow each and every one of those mistakes to be stepping stones into the future that you desire. You can do this, sis, but it's going to take you being honest and deciding that you're ready for a mindset shift. Ooh, child, today was very heavy for me, but I'm so grateful that I was able to share this part of my journey with you. In the comment section below, I would love to know some of the mistakes that you've made and for us to process and talk about them together. The comment section is a safe and sacred space where we can share and support each other. Sis, I love you, and I pray that you are well and that you're doing something every single day to reach your most ambitious goals.